This is Chris Medeiros. Like, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, World of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris Medeiros, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and I'll be down there in the description box. And I'm here to do my AEW Dynamite April 6, 2022 reviews. So here we go, discussing about tonight's episode of Dynamite, and we kick off with the first match of the night. It was Adam Cole versus Christian Cage one-on-one. And it was a pretty good match. It feels like Christian Cage hasn't been in a match in a long time, even though he was in a match a few weeks ago. But it just feels like that. Well, at least with one-on-one matches, at least. But yeah, it was a pretty good match between Cole and Cage. At one point, we seen Adam Cole try to hit the boom on the Christian, but then Christian ducks, and then he rolls him up 1, 2. Cole kicks out at 2, and then immediately after he kicked out at 2, he got hit with a spear by Christian, and then Christian pinned him 1, 2, and then Cole barely kicking out at 2 again. But then at the very end, we seen Christian Cage try to hit the kill switch onto Adam Cole, but Adam Cole was hanging on to the ropes and stuff, so he wouldn't get hit by it. And the referee, of course, breaking them apart because Cole was on the ropes and all that. And then that gave Cole the opportunity to poke Christian Cage in the eyes. And then Christian drops down to his knees and then gets hit with a boom by Adam Cole. And then Cole pinned him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Adam Cole defeated Christian Cage tonight in a one-on-one match. But then after the match ended, we seen Red Dragon come out and attack Christian. But then Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus came out and started helping Christian by fighting off Red Dragon. And while all of them was fighting somewhere else, we seen Adam Cole in the ring, and he was about to leave out, but then Hangman Adam Page comes out, and he looks at Adam Cole, and Adam Cole was like, I don't want to fight you unless that world title's on the line. Adam Page was like, alright, fine, how about this? At Rampage next week, I'll defend the world title against you in a Texas death match. So yeah, next week on AEW Rampage, which Rampage next week will be live, we'll see Adam Cole versus Adam Page for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in a Texas death match. So yeah, that match will be happening next week on Rampage. So yeah, with this match between Cole and Christian Cage, I'll give it 3 stars. It was a pretty good match to kick off Dynamite. So yeah, pretty good stuff at what happened after the match was pretty good. But yeah, up next we're going to be seeing Samoa Joe making his AEW debut on Dynamite up next. So yeah, that will be up next. He already made his debut, he pretty much returned to Ring of Honor last week on the pay-per-view, but he's making his debut on AEW up next. So yeah, he'll be facing against Max Caster. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a one-on-one match. It was Samoa Joe versus Max Caster with Anthony Bowens at ringside in a one-on-one match. And this was a qualifying match to get qualified into the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. And it was a pretty good match. Before I talk about the match, Max Caster came out, and of course he was rapping. And he was spitting some bars and stuff. It was a pretty good rap talking about Samoa Joe with the X Division and TNA, and him being injury prone, and while he was champion on the other show, AEW was beating them in ratings and all that. So yeah, pretty funny stuff right there. But then we get to the match. It was a pretty good match. Samoa Joe pretty much dominated all the match because we was just seeing pretty much getting refreshed on what Samoa Joe does in the ring, of course. And, he was doing his stuff. Max Caster was trying to fight back a few times, but, it wasn't enough. But then at the ending of this match, we seen Samoa Joe hit the Muscle Buster onto Max Caster, which we have not seen that move within years. It's been so many years since we've seen Samoa Joe hit the Muscle Buster. Ever since he hit it on Tyson Kidd in WWE back in 2015, it was banned there. He just recently left from there. But yeah, it was great to see the Muscle Buster back. He did hit it on Max Caster and then got the 3 count. So yeah, Samoa Joe defeated Max Caster. So yeah, he will qualify in the tournament. And then after he won the match. We seen Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt appear on the Titantron, and they was talking to Samoa Joe, talking about like how Jay Lethal was calling him so many times, but Samoa Joe only answers the phone calls to billionaires and all that. But he said next week he got like a gift for him or whatever. Next week on Dynamite. So yeah, that's what we'll be seeing next week on Dynamite. But up next we'll be seeing Shawn Spears versus Shawn Dean up next on Dynamite in the qualifying match. So yeah, for that match between Samoa Joe and Max Caster, I'll give it 2 stars as well. I'll give it a pretty good match. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next day happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, before I talk about the qualifying match, we gotta talk about what happened backstage. Now we had a segment with Tony Schiavone was interviewing Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and William Regal, and Bryan Danielson will be facing Trent Beretta this Friday on Rampage. And William Regal was like, "Yeah, Willie, you to earn respect from me and Bryan Danielson, but now he got to earn respect by Jon Moxley." So yeah, that's what William Regal said. And then we get to the match. It was Captain Shawn Dean versus Shawn Spears in a qualifying match. Winner of this match qualifies in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. And, MJF came out to do the commentary for this match. And, Shawn Spears picked up Shawn Dean at the end, trying to C4 on him. But then all of a sudden there was backstage footage of security guards laid out. And of course it was Wardlow. He came walking out, coming out from the ringside and stuff, going through the crowd, and he was beating down the security guards and distracted Shawn Spears, and he gets rolled up for the 3 count by Shawn Dean. So yeah, Captain Shawn Dean qualifies in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, and Shawn Spears was pissed off at MJF for that crap, and yeah, we seen Wardlow get carried off by the security guards. So yeah. That's what happened on Dynamite. But then, after the match, we seen Best Friends get an interview backstage, and Chuck Taylor was telling Wheeler Yuta that they wanted to be with him to become the best wrestler and all that. And he said, "Well, we love you," and all that. And Trent Beretta was like, "Nah, I don't love him or nothing." And he pushes Wheeler, and then Yuta was like, "No, keep your hands off me." And then apparently, they start, Best Friends is imploding and such. So yeah, pretty good segment right there as well. But yeah, pretty good stuff for that match between Shawn Dean and Shawn Spears. I'll give it 1 star. That's why I'll give it. It was a pretty good match though. So yeah. I will see you guys later until the next thing happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, we seen video footage from earlier today where we seen Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz beating down Chris Jericho and the rest of JAS. And, they chased him off, and Jericho and, the rest of them jumped in the truck and dipped off real quick. And then that was the end of that. But then we get Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz walking out, and Eddie Kingston and all of them, of course, pissed off and everything. And they said they were looking for a fight against them. He was telling Jericho that he's going to get its ass and all that. He said that, "Daniel Garcia, I know where you live at," and all that stuff. And, Santana was saying the same thing. And Ortiz said, "How about next week we'll all go in a 6-man tag team match?" And he said, "Or not. I mean, I don't care. We're down for a fight." And then Eddie Kingston was like, "Yeah, next week, we're calling y'all's asses out for a fight." So yeah, it looks like Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz will probably be in the match next week against the Jericho Appreciation Society. So yeah, we're going to be seeing what will happen next week. But next, we're going to be seeing Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy, the Hardys versus the Butcher and the Blade in a tables match up next on Dynamite. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a tables match. But before I talk about that match, we've seen the TBS Women's Champion Jade Cargill. She came out and she told Tony Schiavone to cut the shit, and she was introducing the baddie section, where it's just a bunch of baddies and all that. And yeah, she was describing about the people in the baddie section and all that, and Jade was talking about Maria Shafir, talking about how she's going to beat her ass and all that. So yeah, that's what she was saying about her. And then we've seen MJF and Shawn Spears talking backstage. MJF was talking about Wardlow and all that stuff. And he said if Wardlow shows his face, it's going to be much more security and all that next week. And MJF, then challenges Shawn Dean in a match next week. So yeah, that match looks like it'll be happening next week. And then we get to the tables match. It was the Hardys versus the Butcher and the Blade in a tables match now. It was elimination style. So yeah, the first one to get eliminated was the Butcher, where Matt Hardy climbed up the top turnbuckle, jumping off with the leg drop to the Butcher through a table, eliminating him. But then at the ending, we seen the Butcher keep on interfering and stuff, but he kept on getting beat down by the Hardys. And then Jeff Hardy climbed up the ladder, where they set up a ladder, and they set up two tables. Matt Hardy laid the blade across it, and Jeff Hardy jumped off the top of the ladder with a swanton bomb onto the blade through the tables. So the Hardys defeated the Butcher and the Blade tonight in a tables match. But then after the match ended, we see Andrade El Idolo and the rest of the AFO come out, and then they looked like they was about to attack the Hardys. But this thing comes out with a baseball bat and pretty much scares them off. So yeah, that's what happened there. But then we get to backstage, and we've seen Christian Cage get pissed off backstage, and we've seen Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy said next week they challenge Red Dragon in the match and they'll defend their AEW World Tag Team Championship. So yeah, Red Dragon versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus for the World Tag Team titles up next week on Dynamite. So yeah, but next we're going to be seeing Hikaru Shida versus Julia Hart in a qualifying match in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament up next. So yeah, for the Hardys and the Butcher and the Blade match, I'll give it 2.5 stars as well. It was a pretty good match. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a one-on-one match. It was Hikaru Shida versus Julia Hart in a one-on-one match. This match was a qualifying match to be qualified into the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. It was a pretty good match. During this match, Julia Hart came out with the Varsity Blondes, but she pretty much told them to go backstage and all that, so yeah, they left. But it was a pretty good match. I mean, Julia Hart has been pretty much, you know, progressing in the ring and all that. She was doing pretty good at the very ending of this match. We see her climb up the top turnbuckle, pretty much trying to hit like a twisted splash onto Hikaru, but Sheeta moved out the way. She hits the mat, and then Sheeta hits the roundhouse kick on her, and then picks her up and then hits the Falcon's arrow onto Julia Hart, and then pins her for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Hikaru Shida defeated Julia Hart tonight in a one-on-one qualifying match. So yeah, Hikaru Shida now qualifies into the Owen Hart tournament. So yeah, and then after the match ended, we seen Serena Deeb's theme song hits. Hikaru was waiting for her to come on out, but then she turns around and Serena Deeb was trying to attack her from behind, and then Serena Deeb got caught, and she pretty much walked out of the ring after getting caught. So yeah, that's what happened there. But then we seen Shane Strickland get interviewed backstage, and he was talking about the Grammys and all that, and then he goes into the locker room. But then Will Hobbs and Ricky Starks was attacking him from behind, and then Keith Lee comes up, helping Shane Strickland. And then Keith Lee put Will Hobbs through the wall. So yeah, that's what happened there as well. But yeah, for that match between Hikaru Shida and Julia Hart, I'll give it a star and a half. That's why I'll give it. It was a pretty good match though. So yeah, pretty good one. But yeah, still to come later on tonight in the main event. We will see FTR versus the Young Bucks for the ROH and AAA tag team titles. So yeah, both tag team titles will be on the line tonight in the main event. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a main event. It was the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions and AAA World Tag Team Champions, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, FTR versus Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, in a tag team match for the ROH and AAA tag team titles. Now, this main event was pretty good. The Young Bucks is trying to screw over FTR a few times in this match. Like at one point, while the referee has back turned, we've seen one of the Young Bucks grab the titles and hit Cash upside the head with the title. And then I think it was Nick Jackson that was the one that rolled up Cash and grabbed him by the tights. And the referee starts counting the pin, 1, 2, and then Dax breaking up the pin. And then Dax got hit with a double super kick by the Young Bucks. But then at one point, the Young Bucks hit the BTE trigger onto Cash Wheeler. And then I think it was Nick Jackson that was pinning him, 1, 2, 3. But then the referee caught that Cash Wheeler's foot was already on the rope. So yeah, he caught it, and they continue with the match. And then we seen FTR. We seen Dax hitting a powerbomb on one of them, and Cash hitting a tombstone power driver on the other one, and then took Matt Jackson out of the ring, and then they hit a BTE trigger onto Nick Jackson, and then kissed him on the cheek, and then lifted him up, and then hits the big rig onto Nick Jackson and pins him for the 3 count. So yeah, FTR defeated the Young Bucks tonight in a tag team match and has retained the ROH and AAA tag team titles. So yeah, it was a pretty good match. If you have, go check it out. For that match, I'll give it 3.5 stars. Pretty good match. Pretty good main event. So yeah, for tonight's AEW Dynamite, it was a pretty good show. Great main event with FTR versus the Young Bucks. And, they had some pretty good matches. Like earlier, Samoa Joe pretty much showing his dominance against Max Caster. Shawn Spears versus Shawn Dean was an okay match. With them progressing with the Wardlow storyline as well. Hikaru Shida versus Julia Hart was a pretty good match. The Hardys versus the Butcher and the Blade and the Tables match was pretty good as well. And Adam Cole versus Christian Cage was pretty good. But in my opinion, match of the night has to go to FTR and the Young Bucks. They had a really good match. If you have go check out that match. But yeah, for tonight's AEW Dynamite, I'll give it a out of 10. I'll give it 8 stars as well. It was a pretty good show tonight. So yeah, pretty good show. Majority of the show was just matches. I think there was like one in-ring segment with Eddie Kingston and them, but other than that, just one in-ring segment. Of course, you had multiple segments, but it was like short ones backstage, but majority of the show was just matches. But yeah, pretty good show. So yeah, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris Videos, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and I'll be down there in the description box. And yeah, I'll see you guys later for this Friday's WWE Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage reviews this Friday night. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then,